Mushrooms. Does it annoy Vander?
Ugh! Dirt fungus.
I want to grab this, but there's a quest right here too. Dang it! Oh hey, look, there's a book here. Quest. In the town of Ontus.
Scholarship. I can smell it from here.
In the town of Ontus, located northwest of Skingrad, between Weatherly Estate and Centurion's Rise, seeks to hire a deputy to assist a new constable with clearing pending investigations regarding suspicious deaths in the town. Interested applicants should present themselves to a newly appointed constable, Abrin. It can usually be found in the graveyard right outside town. Okay, before we do that... Oh, wait, actually, I am going to this town.
I will bring your murderer to justice, Father. This, I swear. You've come to the town of Ontus at an unfortunate time, traveler. I myself have only just returned. Coming home to bury one's father is never an easy thing.
I'm here about the job posting, but did I hear you say your father was murdered?
What other explanation is there? My father, Oberyn, was town constable. He wrote to me about investigating some suspicious deaths. Then suddenly, I get a letter telling me he had died. I requested leave from the Legion and returned as fast as I could.
Do you have any proof that your father was murdered?
Not yet. First, I volunteered to replace him as constable. Then I had to make the arrangements to bury him. With multiple deaths to investigate, I need to hire a deputy. So what do you say, traveler? Interested in the job?
Sure, I'll help you investigate the suspicious deaths on Ontus.
Your first task is to familiarize yourself with what's happening here. The graveyard is a good place to start. Notice the number of recent markers and the similar causes of death. Go on. We can talk again after you examine the newer grave markers.
Alright, tell me about this town.
Ontus attracts workers from both the Highlands and Hammerfell. It's known for its prosperous ranch. And the quarry has made a fortune supplying Cyrodiil with stone to repair keeps on all sides of the war. As a legionary, I'm not thrilled about that.
Ah, you're a legionary. It's the second time she mentioned it.
I was. Still am, I suppose. My commanding officer granted me leave to put my father's affairs in order. When that's done, then I'll decide if I'm still needed here, or if my place is back with the Westweald Legion.
We can do for you. Burn the candle at both ends, labor at the ranch by day, and in the quarry by night. Too much work led to an early demise. When the fever took him, the entire town cried. A courier's courier. She never refused hard work, known as the fastest pickaxe in Ontus. Died too young from that damn fever, leaving behind friends, loved ones, and the debt as long as the strid at the stone chip gambling den. Well-respected ranch hand, loved animals more than people, could stop a charging bull with a single glance, but could not stand up to fatigue fever.
Come. Tell me your thoughts, Deputy. You examined the newest grave markers. Give me your impressions, Deputy.
Well, other than your father, all the recent deaths were laborers, ranchers, and quarry workers both.
Indeed. My father wrote that both the ranch and the quarry were working their laborers very hard of late. But prior to this, I never heard of a fever that strikes down strong, healthy workers in the prime of their lives. They call it fatigue fever.
And this fatigue fever is blamed for all these deaths, including your father?
so the town leaders would have everyone believe. My father made no mention of feeling unwell in his last letter. It was dated the same day he died. He often wrote to me about his investigations, said it helped him think through all the permutations.
Does his letter say anything else that can help with their investigation?
Just that he was baffled. He described fatigue fever as a strange illness that was killing workers, but he had a feeling there was more involved in the deaths. He suspected foul play, and so do I. All right, enough chatter. Let's get back to it.
What do you want me to do next?
Talk to some of the townsfolk. They may be more willing to open up to a stranger than to me. You'd be surprised what ordinary folk pick up on when those in power fail to notice.
All right, anyone in specific you think I should talk to?
My father's letter said he was planning to question Grakuk at the stone chip, ranch overseer Marak, and quarry boss Larina. Let's start where he left off and talk to them. Then, check my father's office. I haven't been able to do that yet.
Okay, what should I ask these town folk about?
Just see what they have to say about recent events. The deaths of their fellow workers. My father. What they think about fatigue fever. My father must have assumed they had something to tell him. We need to follow up on that.
All right, why do you want me to check your father's office?
My father's office. My office now, I suppose. It's been unoccupied since he died. I know I need to go in there. Take stock of things, but it's hard. If you could see if anything related to our investigation stands out, I'd appreciate it.
Someday you'll make something surprising with that.
Thunder rolls as Sai-Sahan nears Leowin as war rages on. Levic's warriors are on the attack, while traitors strike Sai's back. Arrows seeking and sword swinging, death knells will soon be ringing. His face grim, drawing strength from within. His sword swings for Leowin. Traitors behind and long
That's kind of catchy. All right, continuing on. He was singing a song about Sai-Sahan. Nope.
Another worker out sick, and right after one of my best died in his sleep. You look strong. Interested in making some coin in the quarry, stranger?
I already have a job, thanks. I'm working with Constable Yabrin. Can I ask you some questions?
Constable Ulbrin's daughter? Look, if this is about that conversation I had with Yabrin's father, I must have been mistaken. I don't know anything about the illness, other than I've lost more quarriers lately than I can replace.
You spoke with Constable Ulbrin before he died?
Briefly. I thought I noticed something, but I was wrong. Besides, he died before we could talk more. Look, the illness is bad, but my remaining quarriers are more than making up for the workers we lost. Beyond that, I have nothing more to say.
Can you tell me about the quarry?
Listen, I'm just the crew boss. I hire quarriers and keep them busy. If you have questions beyond that, you need to talk to Lady Raxley. She owns the quarry and knows a lot more about what you're asking than I do. Now, I have a quarry to run.
Not suspicious in any way. Right.
Sai's task is fulfilled. He stands on a mountain.
don't want to go down there quite yet. Lessons learning guarding caravans. 1, bring plenty of liquids to drink even more than you think because it's hot as fire out there. 2, wear a hat or you'll get dizzy again and fall down like you're drunk. 3, don't tease the dune rippers. They're really fast. 4, don't leave your kebabs on the ground, even on a clean flat rock, because ants. 5, a jackal won't play fetch. Apparently I've read that before, but I don't remember reading it. Constable's notebook. Another typical day in Ontus. I will say that the increased output from the caravan ranch and the Raxley quarry has been impressive. I don't know what the ranch overseer and the quarry boss are feeding their workers. Whatever they're doing lately is certainly paying dividends. The town healer, Navivma, reports another worker has come down with a debilitating fever, stress, overwork. I asked her to keep me updated. Broke up a fight at the stone chip, gamblers arguing over the outcome of a game. Grakug didn't want me to make a fuss, so I just sent the combatants back to their parts of town with a warning. 3 more workers have come down with what the healer is referring to as the fatigue fever, 2 from the ranch and 1 from the quarry. Blames it on exhaustion. I should speak with the overseer and quarry boss about maybe scaling back a little on their current work pace. The healer gave me a rundown on the effects of this mysterious illness. The inflicted become extremely tired and too weak to move. A terrible fever grips them and they become delusional as they burn with sickness. As the illness progresses, they fall into a deep sleep from which they can't be awakened. And all this from workers who were extremely strong and healthy the last time she checked on them. Very strange. The first 4 workers who fell ill today, 2 worked at the ranch and 2 worked in the quarry. The healer can't put her finger on the causes yet, but she's concerned that both the ranch and the quarry seem affected. So far, no one who doesn't work at either of these places have come down with this fatigue fever. I visited the ranch and the quarry on my rounds today. Even with a third of their workforce down with the fatigue fever, both enterprises were fully engaged and appeared to be thriving. I never saw old Gwil Vashrif have such a large crate of stone before and move so quickly. And Deline Forster at the ranch put on a show about how fast she loaded the wagons bound for the market in Skingrad. It was almost uncanny. More deaths from the fatigue fever. The healer explained that at the end, the fever led to convulsions and foaming at the mouth before death finally took them. And I heard that Gwen and Deline have come down with the illness. I wish we could help them all somehow. Healer Navima sent me a note that she thinks she's figured out something important about the fever. I'm going to meet with her now. I arrived to find the healer on the floor, gripped by convulsions and foaming at the mouth. She died in my arms, the first person not directly tied to the ranch or the quarry to succumb to the fever. Her healer's log is missing, and this is now looking more and more like a crime and not just a simple illness. I need to determine what she's going to tell me before she was silenced. I've set up appointments to talk to the ranch overseer and the quarry boss, and Gorkrug at the stone chip. After that, I plan on interviewing Baron Tarvane and Lady Raxley about whatever processes led to their increased productivity and how it could be connected to fatigue fever. If someone did cause this illness and killed all these people, including the healer, I will see them brought to justice.
Despite rumors to the contrary, Carvane Ranch only hires qualified applicants. Seasoned ranch hands only. We have no time or inclination to train novices. And we especially have no need of rowdies. Perhaps you should inquire at the quarry,
I'm actually here to ask some questions on behalf of the constable.
Ah, I see. I had an appointment to speak to her late father. Unfortunately, he succumbed to that terrible malady before that occurred. I'll tell you what I plan to tell him. No crime plagues the town of Ontus. Just a lamentable disease.
Why do you suppose the constable suspected a crime?
Isn't that the nature of lawkeepers? To see a crime behind every event, guilt is the source of every motivation? Baron Carvane ordered me to cooperate, as long as it didn't interfere with the business of the ranch.
Who's Baron Carvane?
You really are new. The Baron owns Carvane Ranch, which feeds most of Westweald. This fatigue fever, as it has come to be known, is a burden on business, but you can't toss a disease in the dungeon. If there is nothing else, good day to you.
Okay.
I'm no expert in trinket valuation, but I know magic.
Oh, lucky that Xander cared less if we're stealing. If you're curious as to why I'm stealing, it's because the we took that one quest that said to look at this handsome fella. Hold on. Hi, Tallulah. Hey, Tallulah. Someone loves you. They gave you a bunch of bones.
Looks like you have your hands full there, traveler. What's that squawking?
I've got an old guzzard and a note from a trapper to deliver it to you.
Oh, clever Marcian. Thank you for this, traveler. I've been waiting a long time for this guzzard. It's a tough one. You can tell by the thick leather of its wings. Such a handsome creature. Reminds me of Belkarth. Here, a token of my gratitude.
Thank you.
That old guzzard has a true Craglorn soul. The look in its eyes says it all. I think we'll get along just fine. I asked Marcian to find 2 other creatures for me. I haven't seen them in a while, so I'd be happy to pay for your help again.
What did you ask Marcian to trap?
I asked them to trap some guzzards for me as pets, an adolescent and an adult. They remind me of my home back in Craglorn. I also lost my dear pet wormmouth, Verzidu, on the journey here. If anyone can bring these creatures to me, it's Marcian.
Much for taking off that quest. Pretty cool, though. Oh, my dude. He's making it dance with magic.
I need to find a better
Love
job.
Drink up, friends! The next round is on me.
I've worked in far worse taverns than this. The kind that only serve cheap ale and unkind stares. I haven't had to break up more than 2 or 3 fights a night here.
What's a jumped-up alligator gotta do to get a drink around here?
Oh, hey, Beline's Delight.
Well, hello there, gorgeous. You fancy a drink?
A Beline's Delight, I presume.
Ooh, you know me, but I don't know you. I'd love to share a drink and see how well you hold your ale, but I seem to have run dry. Oh, Westweald Wallop is the best drink in this place. Fetch me a cask, and we can sit and talk for as long as you like.
All right, I'll get you some Westworld Wallop.
I knew I liked you.
I have some questions.
Ask away, pretty face, but don't take too long. My cup is still empty.
I don't
You
know.
hear that, barkeep? I've got a new drinking buddy.
Fallen knives?
My scales are dry enough to make a Vishkalil blush. And the barkeep says I can't afford the good stuff. Spare a coin so a self-loathing wretch can drink himself into oblivion?
Hey, Hook needs you to come to Skingrad Outlaw's Refuge. Someone's killing off the Scarlets.
Let them try. You said Hook told you about this killer. He must be lonely. We agreed to split up for good after everything that happened. Now he wants us back?
After what happened?
Our last job. The one we got sent to prison for. He didn't tell you? We got greedy after living off caravans. Hook scouts a vineyard, the Kylum estate. Says the family's traveling. A quick smash and grab, no one gets hurt.
And it didn't work out that way?
The family caught us. We made a break for it and people got hurt. Thanks for ruining what's left of my bottle. I'll take my chances here. Besides, with my tab, I'd lose my tail if I tried to run off to Skingrad.
If I deal with your tab, would you go to the Outlaw's Refuge in Skingrad?
If you part with your coin for me, I'll follow you anywhere. But the swill they serve here isn't worth a sacrifice like that. A Scarlet would find the ledger in Lorena's house and trim its leaves. No record, no debt. Simple.
Tell me more about destroying the record of your debt. Well, I'll just pay your tab. How big is it?
Really? It's a healthy amount of gold. That's the problem with drinking as an Argonian. It takes a lot to put us in our cups. By the time the ale kicks in, all your coin's been kicked out.
Yes, this should cover it.
Well, well. Aren't you a generous soul? I'd play a song for you from my Vosa saddle, but I bartered it for, well, you know.
Hook's waiting for you in the Skingrad Outlaw's Refuge.
I'll amble over that way, sure. Hook can buy me a round or two for my trouble. Of course, if there's really a killer on my tail, and they see me wobbling on the road, I'll just hide in some tall grass.
Can you get to Skingrad? You'll be safe there.
Safe from what? A mysterious murderer? Who's to say whether Hook is jumping his shadows? I'm sorry some old comrades are dead, but thieves die every day. If it's my time, it's my time. Don't worry. I'll make it to Skingrad.
Please, make yourself comfortable, traveler. There's plenty of ale to go around.
I like to buy a cask of Westweald Wallop.
Westweald Wallop, you say? That's our finest ale, and it doesn't come cheap.
I'm good for it.
Very well. 1 cask of Westweald Wallop. Our establishment is not responsible for any injuries obtained in the course of your inebriation.
Fair enough.
Did you get it? Don't dawdle, pour us around. Cheers to you, my friend. Well, drink up. Ugh, that ale really packs a punch. I might take a nap for a minute. Well, that was embarrassing. Don't worry, I already took her back. Can we speak, friend? That was mortifying. I'm sorry you had to see that. I never did learn to hold my drinks. After all that, I would understand if you want to leave, but I could still use your help, if you're willing.
What else do you need me to do?
That's a fair question. I don't quite feel like myself, and it's not just the headache I can feel brewing thanks to my delight's indulgence. I'm still missing 2 facets. I need you to get them back.
All right, I'll look for your next facet.
That's good, but I don't think this one wants to be found. It's my fear. The same facet you saw earlier. She probably ran to the deepest place she could find to hide. I sense she's in a cave or ruin southwest of Ontus.
All right, I'll look for her.
Tread lightly. I hate to admit it, but I've never been good in a panic. Quite the opposite, actually. I doubt my fear will come willingly. I'll catch up with you as soon as I've settled... Well, I suppose it's my tab now, isn't it?
Goodbye. Everything is steel from. I don't... Wait. Oh no, we didn't. I was like, did we just teleport to Ingrad? No, we didn't. Oh.
Another chance at perfection.
Back. Is it here? Ah, there it is.
Welcome to the Stone Ship Tavern and Gambling Den, stranger. Looking for work in Ontus? Or did you come to our fine establishment because you heard we host the best games of chance this side of the Strid?
I'm helping the constable with an investigation. Can I ask you a few questions?
So you're Yabrin's new deputy? Good. She could use the help. I'm not sure I could come back and dive into work after losing someone as close as Yabrin was to her father. What can I tell you, deputy?
What can you tell me about Yabrin's father?
Constable Albrin was a good man. Kept the peace here. Made sure the workers, both native townsfolk and recent arrivals, got along. He was a friend. I know he was concerned about the illness spreading through town. Shame it killed him.
The constable was planning to talk to you. Any idea why?
We talked all the time. As I said, we were friends. He'd sometimes inquire if there was any chatter in the stone chip he needed to worry about. But the only news I can think of is that a lot of our regulars from the quarry haven't been in a while.
Since I'm new here, what should I know about the town of Ontus?
Not much to tell. We're a small town full of hard-working people. Most everyone is employed by the Carvane Ranch or the Raxley Quarry. Baron Carvane and Lady Raxley have always had sort of a friendly rivalry, but lately it seems less cordial.
Less cordial? What do you mean?
The ranch makes a substantial profit providing food for the town and the region. While the quarry has had some success, since the war for the throne heated up, it's begun to challenge the Baron's status and put a strain on their relationship.
Can you tell me about the fatigue fever?
It's the illness affecting the workers. Took Constable Albrin, too. We saw the first signs of it a few months back. It started innocently enough. Most thought everyone was working too hard. But then those with the illness started dying.
Why do you think the constable was investigating an illness?
He was? That's a good question. I suppose maybe it was a little strange that only people who work at the ranch or the quarry were getting sick. Until, that is, Healer Navalma and Albrin got ill. The disease came upon them and they died very quickly.
I need to find a better job.
Deputy, were you able to interview the townsfolk I suggested?
They confirmed the seriousness of the fatigue fever, but they claimed to know nothing about any crimes.
I wonder what my father hoped to get out of talking to them. I know this is all tied to fatigue fever. I just don't know how. What about the constable's office? Did you find anything important there?
Here, I found this in your father's desk.
My father's notebook? It describes how productivity increased lately at both the quarry and the ranch. Interesting. And he mentions how the town healer died suddenly before she could share her findings. 2 suspicious deaths that break the pattern.
What are you thinking?
That 2 healthy people, not connected to the ranch or quarry, were suddenly inflicted with fatigue fever and died faster than any other victims. My father planned to talk to Baron Carvane and Lady Raxley next. Do that, while I investigate the healer.
Alright, I'll go talk to him.
Let's rally at the Stone Chip Tavern when you're done, Deputy.
Well, this is a nice place. Creepy monkey puppet. I don't know if I read this. This doesn't seem familiar. I walked many winding forest trails, followed tracks without pause or thought, but all my restless journeys, dear, yours is the only path I've ever sought. We used to amble side by side, your hand fit mine like a well-worn glove, but this familiar path looks different now, and I can't recall the face of my one love. What once was clear is almost gone, like the fading of a favorite song. I'll walk these paths that fork and bend until I wander home again. I used to know this weary road, every tree and rock that marked the way, but time has passed and things have changed. Memories slip and soon decay. Thoughts of you guide me through the wood, pleading the specter of the coming dawn. But once I reach our cherished spot, the memory returns, and you are gone. What once was clear is almost gone, like the fading of a favorite song. We walk these paths that fork and bend, until we wander home again. Until we wander home again. Xander, thank you so kindly. Being naughty with me. Abbreviated history. Right there. Again, the ballad of Navid the singer. When 4 bears came ashore, among them were sword singers. According to the lore, at 4 of Yob Hub's 13, noble Ansi all. One there was named Navid, this song is of his fall. Navid loves Sayede. Navid loves Sayede. Sayede loved him not. Her heart was pledged to Hulquib, The 13's final shot. As Kulkib applied his bow in practice on the beach, Navid approached with empty hands until he was in reach. While Yulklib faced the target, Navid called upon his Shahi, slew his love's love with the sacred sword, and watched his rival die. Back to Yahab's beachhead went into his tent, fell for shame on his own sword. Dishonor thus was spent. Yeah, I would have remembered that.
I'm no expert in trinket valuation, but I know magic.
I remember reading that one. I do remember that one. From long ago. When we were in Apocrypha.
The Carvane Ranch does not sell to individual buyers. This is not a general store. Might I suggest the markets in Skingrad? Or perhaps you can purchase a meal at the Stone Chip Tavern.
I'm not here to buy food. I'm assisting Constable with an investigation.
Glad to hear that young Yabrin has gotten right to work. Her father would be proud. But I am uncertain as to what I can tell you that would help advance her investigation. What exactly is she investigating, by the way?
We're looking into the deaths related to the fatigue fever.
I didn't realize that sickness and illness were now the purview of the town constable. I can tell you what I know. A strange disease has befallen workers at my ranch and at Raxley's quarry. Unfortunate, but there's no crime that I can see.
Seems suspicious that both the town healer and the constable died from the illness.
Is it? No matter. None of this is a concern to me, and I have no idea how to help you. I have enough to do just to keep the ranch running in these difficult times. So if there is nothing else, I'll bid you good day and good luck with your inquiries.
Up to something. Wit. The footsteps of Shazar, demigods such as the Pelennial Whitestrake or Mohorse the Winged Bull, were not the first divine aid men received in their struggle against the Aliads. The myth of Shore's campaigns to claim a place for Min and not Mora are well known to scholars, but less well known are Shore's deeds in Tamriel afterward. A careful examination of Niedric oral traditions documented haphazardly in the oldest imperial texts, traces of the outlines of a fascinating, if mostly forgotten, tale. In the Middle Merithic era, the Mer who become the Iliads left Somerset to carve out new realms for themselves in Tamriel. More advanced in both war-making and the uses of magicka than the Nedic peoples who already lived there, at first they were easily subjugated or drove away by their new neighbors. But slowly the divided needs began to resist their advances. Time and again in Nedic folklore, a stranger arrives to help ancient men. The stranger comes as a teacher, an advisor, and a maker of alliances between tribes who would have fought alone. He is not a warrior ruler like Shore, but instead a figure who inspires others to fight for themselves. A Dyraki legend mentions Cesar, who stole stoneworking from the Dwemer and taught Zenfara to call Nerncrux from the mountain roots. A Perino tale claims that the Cult of Stairs learned soul magic from a white-bearded stranger. Likewise, Shazar of the Snowy Beard is said to give the secrets of Iliad battle magic to the Needs of Cyrod, showing them how to turn their enemies' arts against them. And most fascinating of all, a stone tablet said to have been found in the ruins of Sador depicts a bearded figure as the Shazaran Shore who lives, teacher of Min. Taken together, it seems these disparate tales show that Cesar inspired many different tribes to resist the Iliad oppression, yet the later Nedic sagas do not mention the wise stranger. Whatever part Shazar or Shore, in the guise of a teacher instead of a warrior, played in those days came to an end in the middle of the Merithic era, but the ember of hope he gave to ancient men sustained them through centuries of enslavement by the Iliad Empire, until at last blazed once again to inspire Saint Alicia's rebellion. Oh. Are you following me, sir?
You heard the Baron. We've got nothing to hide.
Oh, okay. I see. It became nighttime since we were in there. Never forget how fast night falls.
I have a few goods to...
And long house before, both seek the sword master's death in this war. Saisahan fights to cheat such a...
All right.
If you're looking for work, please talk to quarry boss Lorena. I have more important things to do than deal with common laborers.
I'm not here for a job. I'm assisting the constable with an investigation.
Yabrin's back? I assumed she was fighting in Cyrodiil, or guarding the Count's precious bear. If this is about Ulbrin's suspicions, I'll tell you what I told the healer. My quarriers enjoy the rewards that come with hard work. Illness is not an issue.
Constable's notebook indicated that he was planning to talk to you.
Did it? I don't recall any standing appointments. The constable always treated me with the respect I deserve. He never found it inconceivable that Emperor Leovic personally granted an Argonian an imperial title. Not like Baron Carvane.
So your business hasn't suffered due to fatigue fever?
My business is none of your concern. We struggled in the past, and were almost forced to sell to Carvane. But we turned things around. All it took was a war, a demand for stone, and for our quarriers to work a little harder. Now, please leave.
Definitely want to keep showing us the Night Mother's truth. Jeez.
From Cyrodiil to Total Bay, the Niven's back is wide. Good ships along Laird and Quay await the morning tide. In ale as well we took on ore. Hadway, Colovian.
Is it bad that I'd rather...
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Then sailed for Blackwood Head. 1, 2. cast far, cast true. Hey, leadsman, call your mark. Shoal water lurks in foggy murk across the Nibbin bar. In Torval we bought sugar cane, in South Point furs and dye. A short visit, then back to the Legion. Then sold it all at
Is it bad that I...
Okay, sorry. But finish your sentence.
I have a few goods to trade, but nothing like... Is it bad that I'd rather not do business with the ranch hands or quarriers right now? That fatigue fever scares me witless. Oh, but if you want to trade, I suppose you look healthy enough.
Thank you for that, I guess.
Hey, leadsman, call your mark. For Nereids dwell beneath the swells across the Nibbin bar. 1, 2, cast far, cast true. Hey, leadsman, call
Coin to a hungry stranger.
Deputy, over here.
Yeah, what's up?
Deputy, I have a message for you from Constable Yabrin.
What's the message?
The constable said she found something at the healers that pointed to a possible source of fatigue fever. She asked me to let you know, and that you should meet up with her. She wants you to help her search Carvane Manor and Lady Raxley's tower.
So she thinks that the Baron or the lady are responsible in some way?
That I couldn't say. She wasn't exactly eager to share the details of her investigation in the middle of a town gambling den. But between you and me, if Carvane and Raxley aren't guilty of this, they sure as Tusk are guilty of something.
Where can I find the manor and tower?
Carvane Manor is south of town, on the Carvane Ranch. Watch yourself there. The ranch hands don't take kindly to trespassers. As for Lady Raxley's tower, it's north of town, looming over the quarry.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. One really needs to sweep in that little entryway. She's a mess. We are not good at singing ever. Andrew, can you believe it? We did it. Wasn't particularly, but not about it. Oh, what am I doing? I'm not gonna. I love that she looked around and was like, oh, I guess I'll fall down now. Our favorite alchemist discovered a substance in a newly dug section of the quarry that can solve our productivity issues. If you're willing to set aside our usual animosity, come to my office. I believe you'll be very interested in my proposal. The following items are to be shipped to Zagar's Blind, northeast of Ontus, immediately by order of Baron Cravain. Use a covered wagon and be discreet. And cabbage, potatoes. Put me in it, okay?
I've never worked on a ranch quite like this before.
That was intellectually stimulating. Someday you'll make something surprising with that.
Wait, I'm thinking. Am I? I don't know. Nope, I'm not going in the right direction.
A soldier dancer with eyes so fine.
Feeling hostility.
They seem like innocent ones. I don't want to hurt them. I'm alright, Vander. What's going on over here? Lady Roxley, the unusual stone that fills the newly dug section of the quarry is very intriguing. I believe I can grind it into sand to create a potent elixir. This elixir, when consumed, will increase the productivity of your quarries 1,000-fold. There may be some unfortunate side effects, but I won't know for sure until we test it on the workers. This is the solution to a low productivity and loss of profits we discussed. Of that, I am certain. I'll just require a mechanism for getting it into the workforce, perhaps through water or a food source. I'm available to discuss in detail at your leisure. Despite our long-standing rivalry and unapologetic dislike for each other, our profits have become dependent upon another as of late. Healer Navima is becoming an increasing problem as she continues to examine and treat our workers. We may need to do something about that before too long.
There you are. We should investigate Zegger's blind next.
Okay. And now it seems that the Constable Oberyn has also started to look into our business. That I cannot abide. Warn the alchemist Sirius to make sure there is nothing to find at Zagar's blind. I also suggest you heed my advice and make use of the Dark Company's mercenaries. They are quite good at what they do. Head down to the blind. Alright, we'll go to the blind. What is she doing behind me?
And that's done. What's next?
We're gonna go this way. That's what's next, Vanderwander.
I'm interested in what you found, and you can tell me on the way. I want to check out Zegger's blind. I heard more than one of the hired mercenaries mention the name, as I made my way to find you. It's just to the northeast of the town.
Well, what did you get?
Larvae.
Ebullition! Ew. Be sure to wash your hands.
Oh, good. You found it. Place used to be crawling with goblins. Let's see what's in here now.
Going to need a moment. I'm not a young man.
No, don't make me kill the wolf. He's being a good boy. Pretty damn useless in a fight, isn't she? Goodness.
There's a key sitting on that desk. Take it, and see if it unlocks any of the drawers. Not for that desk? Then let's find the lock that key opens.
I wish there was an option to just, like, put the puppy to sleep and not kill them.
Over there. Try the key in that desk.
Payment for 2 prior problems is enclosed. Good work. We have another issue that needs your particular expertise. Grog Cook at the gambling den and the new deputy, Mnealia. We think they are both about to be stricken with the fatigue fever. Fatally. That should end this matter once and for all. As for the constable Yabrin, we have another way to deal with her. She will soon be accused of the very crime she's been investigating. Poetic justice and all that. So fire up your alchemic equipment and make us more of your potent elixir.
They're after us. And Grakuk. I'll go warn him. You destroy this alchemical equipment.
Mm-hmm. I do, huh?
I won't let you destroy my life's work.
You guys have to spawn back. Or maybe kill another puppy. Yeah, boy.
You're interrupting scholarship.
Man, we are just determined to kill all the wildlife here.
Damn. Mercenaries got the drop on me.
Oh, butter.
Constable Yabrin. They busted in right after she arrived. Mercenaries by the looks of them. I tried to help, but I'm not the fighter I used to be. They took Yabrin.
You know where they took her?
They made a point of shouting so everyone could hear. Fatigue fever is your fault, you and your crooked father. I know that's not true. They want to blame her. Said they were taking her to the Ontus reservoir. North, near the river.
You stay with me. Oh. He didn't stay with me. He died. No. Buddy. Maybe if I steal his gold, I'll perk him up. Oh, that made a terrible sound. Oh, that was awful. Hitting me in the kidneys.
They want to fight, do they?
Agreed to sign the confession, Yabrin. My patience won't last forever.
Give me
Over
that.
here.
I'll sign
Get me out
her
of these
damn
bonds.
name. In case you haven't noticed, we've got company.
The deputy. Mercenaries! Kill them and dump the elixir into the reservoir. Come, Rexley. We need to get out of here.
Deputy, you stop the mercenaries. I'll go after Carvain and Raxley.
Let's get this over with.
I never did like lawfolk.
Let's make this quick.
Oh my goodness, you got special powers. I like it. Quick. Ooh. Nothing.
far enough, Baron. I've got them. What happened at the reservoir, Deputy? I can't believe I allowed myself to get captured by this bunch. If my fellow legionaries hear about this... But tell me, did you stop the mercenaries from polluting the reservoir with the remaining elixir?
Yes, they didn't have a chance to dump the barrels of elixir.
Good. And we have enough evidence to implicate them. Not only in the deaths of Healer Navama and my father, but in the deaths of all those workers. Their alchemist created an elixir that made the workers more productive, but at a terrible cost.
I need to tell you, Grarkug didn't make it. He died from his wounds.
That's another death to lay at their feet. And all in the name of profit. They plan to destroy the town, blame it all on me, and run off with their ill-gotten gold. I'm just glad you were here to help stop them.
What happens now?
I'll present the evidence we collected to the magistrate in Skingrad. Help determine who takes over the ranch and quarry. Ontus needs those businesses to continue, though without the danger of fatigue fever. Here's your pay, Deputy. With my thanks. I hope my father can rest easier now. I finished what he started, and brought the murderers to justice. I'll see them get whatever punishment the magistrate deems acceptable, whether life in a dungeon, or the executioner's blade. Thanks again, Deputy.
What about you? Will you stay in Ontus and or return to the Legion?
That's a good question. I haven't quite decided yet. I want to stick around long enough to wrap this all up. See Carvain and Raxley face justice. Help decide the future of the ranch and quarry.
I need to move on.
Beyond that, we'll just have to see.
Sorry, you were taking so long to talk. I'm moving on. Will you hire a new deputy?
I might have to. I'll need help rounding up the rest of the mercenaries at the ranch and the quarry. Damn it. There's a lot to do before I can figure out what's next for me. If you wander this way again, know that Ontus will always welcome you.
Oh, thank you. Alright, now I gotta figure out what's next on our list.
Another chance at perfection.
Colovian bows are adequate,